Record. Okay, so now we're going to start recording so we can get into some of our breath work and our meditation for today. So here we are in March, and we're going to be talking about the immunity, some of the herbal remedies for immunity, and then also some of like mushrooms and different things like that. Cleavers and mushrooms are what we're bringing to the table today. So let's start with our attitude breath. So just coming into a seated position, just feeling really comfortable with where you are. You can bring your hands into your lap or by your sides. You can also cover your heart space if you'd like to. But we're going to move into the heart math attitude breath, which is the same breath work that we did the last time we gathered. And we're going to do this every time we come together. So first, you're going to just sit in your body and start to just connect with your breath. And just see what rises up for you. Start to recognize something that you would like to release or let go of. What is a feeling or an attitude that you want to let go, that you don't want to have within your energy field? It might be just a bad day. It could be anger. It could be sorrow or grief. Anything that comes up that you would like to release or let go of. And then identify a replacement feeling or attitude. What would you like to replace that with? Do you want to replace that with peace? Do you want to replace that with joy? Do you want to replace that with happiness? Whatever comes to mind, what do you want to let go of, and what would you like to call in? And then focus your attention on your heart space. So coming right into the center of the heart, you're going to start to imagine your breath coming in through the heart space and leaving out through the heart space. So breathing in through the heart and breathing out through the heart. And take a few rounds of breath here as you really connect with this space. Breathing in through the heart, exhaling out through the heart. And then start to deepen that breath. So breathing in for the count of 5 and breathing out for the count of 5. Breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5. And breathing out, 2, 3, 4, 5. And continue that for 3 to 5 more rounds of breath. Breathing in for the count of 5. And breathing out for the count of 5. Now begin breathing in the energy, the frequency of what it is that you're calling in. What is the new belief? What is the new attitude? What is the new feeling that you would like to experience? And breathing that in, continue with your rounds of breath for 5 in and 5 out. But shift that so that you can start to feel the energy. You might start to feel what it feels like to have peace. You might feel what it feels like to have joy. Tapping into those energy streams, start to bring that into the heart space with the breath in. And then exhale, breathe out through the heart space. We're going to continue breathing in this way just for a few more minutes. But if you're doing this on your own time, you can do this as long as you need until you feel that shift happen. You'll feel an energetic shift of what it is that you'd like to bring in. And you're going to start to feel that fill you up. And you're going to start to feel it activating. You're going to feel it so it starts to come out through your auric field. And that is how you can shift into a new feeling, into a new attitude. We're going to continue to stay here. We're going to go right into our lotus meditation. And we're going to start with the element of earth. And imagine that you're a little seed that is planted in the muddy earth at the bottom of a pond. You're going to begin taking root, feeling the warmth and the comfort of the fertile ground that is around you. And as that little seed, you're going to start to feel and experience the element of fire. It's a spark. You feel the warmth of the determination and the change that is within you. And as the fire builds, your stalk begins to shoot up out of the mud. Out of the mud and into the element of water. The cooling, cleansing water that's surrounding you as you float upwards in the liminal space of the pond that is around you. And here you can set an intention. Coming into the element of air, turn your palms up as they rest in your lap. Your lily pads are the first to pop up and unfurl on the top of the water. Breathing air and soaking in sunlight, feeding you these essential nutrients of breath, life, and light. And coming into the element of spirit, you rise to the top of the water and you push your way through. You're still wrapped tightly in a bud. And when you're ready, you, the lotus flower, fully open and bloom in all of your radiance, your face turned up toward the sun and your roots firmly planted, gracefully floating on the top of the pond. Your intention is fully realized. And take a few moments here, imagining that lily, imagining that flower. And take a deep breath in. And exhale, open your eyes. Great. So here we are, bringing in the herbs of immunity for March. So when we come into the springtime, it's really important for us to start to activate, right? When we think of how we behave in winter, usually there's a little bit more stagnation, right? It's cooler, colder. We don't want to be as active. The element of winter will bring us into our rest period. And in the very beginning of February, right around the Groundhog's Day, right? We call it Groundhog's Day, but there's also what they call Imbolc, IMBOLC. It's February 2nd. And that's like when the earth has its first light of spark, right? Of heat that starts to generate. And we can see this coming out through some of the flowers that show up, right? Or as the buds start to come onto the trees, different things like that. It might still have a lot of snow on the ground, but we do have some flowers that pop up, and I think they're like the crocus and different ones like that, right? Because the earth is actually starting to warm, right? So the first spark is coming in the early part of February. And then we start to feel it in ourselves. We start to feel a little bit more awake. We start to feel like, oh, well, we start to feel a little bit more heat coming in, or willingness to want to be able to be a little more active. We start to get a little bit of that springy fever feeling. We might even start planting our gardens, things that are active in what are we going to be doing in the spring and the summer months. So we, as nature, already start to feel that internally as well. So we start to look at spring that's coming, and we'll get a little bit of spring fever, things like that. Sometimes we'll even start cleaning our house, opening our windows, just starting to clear things out. So the springtime is a perfect time to clear. And with immunity, when we're clearing things, our immune system is also going to be strengthened by that. So we'll start with cleavers. So cleavers is really good during the springtime. You're going to find cleavers pop up in nature right around the same time that the dandelions do. So dandelions and cleavers, all of these are spring flowers or weeds that you can find and just forage for in your environment. Dandelions, for example, help to, if you do dandelion root or even eat the dandelion greens or dandelion flowers, they help to clean the liver, right? It helps to clear the digestive tract. Again, because we've been kind of more stagnant throughout the winter time, it's starting to build that inner fire. They're considered bitters. It's a bitter plant, bitter flower and roots, but it helps with our digestion. And same as the cleavers. So cleavers is brought this, with the springtime, and you can forage for that, and you can have it as a tea. You can use it as a poultice. You can use it. I know we have some liquid drops that you can do. You can juice it. You can put it in salads because, again, it's a springtime plant that helps us to clear out the waters of our system, right? It really works as a support for our renal glands, which are our kidneys and our liver and our lymphatic system. So it's a lymph mover. It removes waste products from our body. So any of our, like the dead cells that we might have, any stagnant water that we might have, any water retention that we'll have in the tissues, things like that, it's going to help to pull all that out, and it acts as a diuretic for our body to cleanse and to remove any of our waste products that we may have accumulated from being a little bit more inactive. So it'll enhance the immune function. It has the ability to improve the flow of the lymph fluid and flush out toxins. As I said, it acts as a diuretic, so it can reduce inflammation and any type of swelling or congestion that we might have in our body. It's also great for fluid retention and fluid buildup, which can cause the tissues to become enlarged. So sometimes you'll see it like around your feet or in your fingers. You'll feel that in your hands. If you're using it as a wound care, it can also be used as a wound care for healthy skin if you make it into a poultice. So you just kind of grind it up, put some water, make it, and then you just kind of pack it and hold it down. And it's applied topically directly to the skin. So it has really cooling and anti-inflammatory properties and actions. So it can be helpful for things like acne, psoriasis, wounds and burns. And also can help with any type of ulcers that you have. So if you're drinking it internally as a tea or just in the liquid drop form, if you do it as a juice, it's going to help with the digestive ulcers and different things like that too. So you can use it in the fresh or dried form if you find it out in nature. One of my teachers, she used to really harvest a lot of it, and then they would juice it. So she would kind of blend it in a blender, and then she would strain it and make like a juice out of it. And she would keep it in her fridge and just drink it, add, a little bit of water to it and just drink it as a fresh juice. And it's going to be really cleansing that way. And then we have more of the liquid drops that it's alcohol based. So if you just take a little bit of drops of that in water, and you can take it that way as well. You also can make a fresh tea, put some in there in a mason jar, cover it with hot water, maybe let it set for 8 hours, and then you can strain it and drink it from there. You can use fresh or dried. It doesn't matter. Both are fine. So yeah, you can also add it to other things like mint if you want to add a little bit of different flavor to it. So there are a few contraindications to this, and this is something that I would consider anybody that's like a diabetic, or if you have like kidney issues, heart issues, things like that. I would just be cautious with it. Maybe be really, gentle and ask obviously your doctor if it's something that you should even try. But if you have any of these conditions, be very mindful of it and just go very slow. I would just double check with your doctor before. So those are the only contraindications that we have with that. So do you have any questions about cleavers?
So it's more like a weed than a flower.
It will flower.
Okay. And the flower part is good too. You can't like you can use it after it flowers also.
You
Okay.
can use it at any stage, and
Hmm.
it's going to have little white flowers on it.
Okay.
When it comes up, I don't remember how many, I think it's five. I'd have to double check how many. It's like a stalk, and then it has like leaves, and then a long stalk, and then more leaves, and then a long stalk.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then they have like little hairs on those leaves. So if you brush up against it, it's real sticky. It can kind of cling to you or cleave to
Mhm.
you.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that's why it's called cleavers or
Cleaver.
sticky weed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to find a patch of it. Um, I was trying to work with it fresh for a couple seasons now, and it's been very challenging for me to find.
Yeah.
But I found so last year in the springtime, I was like, I really want to harvest some. And I would say I went out by my pond and I had one little stalk, one,
Wow.
and it says, I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll
I'm
bring more
here.
next year.
Yeah, next
Yeah.
year I'll try to bring some more.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can find it, just
I've been really getting into foraging
mm-hmm.
in wildlife for edible things and things that are beneficial to your health. So this is really cool.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So sometimes you'll find it. I mean, it's not always, but when I found it, it was near my pond. And then somebody else that had told me, and I went out and I was waiting for the right time to harvest it. But it was by water for them too. So I don't know if it's frequently by water. I don't know if that's the case, but both times I found it, it was near water somewhere.
Yeah. We have a canal going right through our neighborhood here, so I can walk around there and see if I can find some
Yeah.
this spring. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Cleavers is really wonderful as a spring cleanser for the lymphatic system. And if you think of our lymphatic system, it's kind of, and I don't like to use this terminology, but they reference it to like our sewage system. And you don't want a sewage backup. So you want to use herbs that are going to really clear and cleanse.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's anti-inflammatory. So if you've been sick, right? So springtime, sometimes we have a lot of change in season. We'll get
Yeah.
cold sicknesses, and you might get a little bit of like the swollen glands or swollen lymph nodes. And so that's a good time to be using some of the cleavers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the other one that we have is soma, which is it's a blend of different mushrooms and rose and schisandra. So soma is called, or it's written Soma, spelled Soma. This one is from Anima Mundi. So soma means it's an immortality elixir. It's called the nectar from heaven or the food of the gods. So in ancient India, soma was a legendary drink of the gods. This drink was known for its power to grant immortality and higher wisdom, and that to drink it was in sacred communion meant to receive the power of ecstasy, divine vision, and healing of all illness. So here we are with our helpful healing of all illnesses. And so what we have here is there's reishi, which is adaptogen and an immunomodulator, which is rich in antioxidants. It's known to protect the brain, liver, cardiovascular, and urinary systems. And reishi is a mushroom that's known in traditional Chinese medicine for like longevity, for strong chi, health, and longevity. And reishi is one of the mushrooms that I was going to talk about, but it was also in this formula. So I thought I would just bring it in with this formula. But it also has lion's mane, which helps with the brain, the nervous system, and then all brain health. You have cordyceps, which is also their immunomodulators, antioxidant, anti-inflammatory properties, and cordyceps also help to level blood sugar. Then chaga. A lot of people that live in Michigan are familiar with chaga. Native American tribes up in north, or even if you just go up north, you'll find chaga a lot. And chaga is really good for antimicrobial activities of health and blood sugar levels, and also for wound healing. There's more that chaga has, and I believe that they sometimes connect it with reducing cancer cells, which
Yeah.
they say about a lot of mushrooms. But I did have somebody tell me about chaga too. So anything that's going on in the body is really going to help to promote health and to help the immune system. They have maitake and shiitake, which are potent immunomodulators that work synergistically with reishi. So those are some mushrooms too. And then we have rose and schisandra, and those are rich in antioxidants. And we talked about rose last month. Schisandra is a berry that has in traditional Chinese medicine, 7 tastes. And so it has all of them, which means that it helps on all levels. And some people, associated with the 7 chakras, it balances everything within the body, because it has the 7 different tastes. So like sour and bitter and pungent and sweet and salty. I think I might be missing a couple there, but it has all of those flavors. So soma is something that also has vitamin C in it. And as you're working with these mushrooms, the vitamin C is going to help to really boost these properties of the mushrooms, and then the rose and the schisandra that's in there too. So rose is it's anti-inflammatory. It's also very cooling. So it's going to help open the heart space and help with any inflammation that you have in the body. And then the mushrooms are going to help with building the immune system, and also with regulating and modulating your immunity. So that's something that we have through animal immunity. Do you have any questions about that one?
No.
Okay. All right. So now that we have kind of talked a little bit about, the lymph system and some mushrooms and some different things, let's just open the floor. So let's just kind of talk about what it is, like maybe some of the things that you'd like to focus on of building in your immune system this month, or maybe what you've done in the past. Is there anything that you'd like to share?
Um, no, I find all this holistic stuff and gardening holistically for healing purposes and just so fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Um, really want to get into that, even if it's just a little patch of important things that I want to do, of course, in my yard. Kind of like what you do, you make your space outdoors functional for you and what you're trying to do physically and healing and stuff like that. I want to do that too with my little space. And even if we can um help each other in this, like us, our little community here, Lotus Grove, if we could share seeds, um I think that would be so cool going forward, especially with maybe tapping into a little of the holistic gardening aspect. I mean, that's kind of where my head is at, and instead of going out and trying to find it, like, hey, I've got some seeds of this or that, or but yeah, I mean, my goal tuning into these type of things is to, right, be healthier, live better, do things more holistically, um for sure. And that's why this kind of stuff just really excites me and interests me. And I can just see this little community of people sharing seeds and mushrooms and different things like that. That would be really cool if we could go down that avenue just a pinch, but
Yeah. Wouldn't
yeah.
it be fun if we could all like get together and go foraging?
Oh my gosh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That oh, we could all have our little hats on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. And like what you're doing here with this format, this is certainly um helps, and as an avenue that we can all, hey, let's go foraging on, even if it's to each other's yards or whatever. I've got a whole bunch of this,
Yeah.
come on by. And yeah, that would be cool, because like I said, in my little neighborhood here, we've got a river that branches off the Detroit River, and a lot of things growing on the shores of it. I mean, so many things I don't even know what I'm looking at or anything. I think I need to get a book on, foraging for
Yeah,
certain. And
yeah,
I know they have those, and that's been on my list for a while. But I've got a bunch on Pinterest, of things that I can forage for. But yeah, I mean, this is just great and exciting, and it all ties into what you're doing over there at Lotus Holistic Place, and what you're trying to give us, which is it's huge, and it means so much. It means so much to me. And I think what a way to, go into the future of trying to take care of the bodies that we have
yeah.
and get the most out of them. And I just love what you're doing with this. I hope I'm getting better at coming in.
Yeah, you are.
But yeah, I mean, this is just so great, Kim. I love this. And yeah, the foraging outings would be awesome. Oh my gosh, just
Yeah.
so cool. Like,
Well,
even if we could find out what lower Huron Park, or what parks have what, as far as for, if, hey, there might be a site we could go on to find out if you're looking for this. There's a whole bunch of it at, you know and even over at the river nature preserve or something. I haven't checked any of these places out for.
yes. Now I do know that they have a lot of specimens over at the wildlife sanctuary,
Okay, yeah,
but those grounds are not something
yeah,
that you want to
that
forage
we can.
from, but it's
Right.
nice to be able to see it in its habitat so
Yes,
you can identify
we
it
can
somewhere
go.
else. Mhm.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. And then we have a boat up in Gregory on a chain of 7 lakes that my husband and I could explore the banks of those lakes and see what we could find and forage for and share.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it would be great. That's something that I want to tap into this
Yeah.
spring, summer.
Yeah,
You
a
know,
lot of these things I know you can plant. Like last
yeah,
month we talked about rose and
yeah,
cacao, right?
yeah,
You can plant roses, right? And you
yeah.
can make them as organic and holistic as possible so that you can
Right.
actually take those flowers and you can put them in your food. You can make a tea
I
without the
wondered,
chemicals.
like, is it a certain kind of rose bush though?
Hmm.
Like, like, do I have the right kind?
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, they're all pretty much the same. You want to make sure that, you do look it up online. I mean, do your due diligence, make sure that something that's, um, I mean, if you're making and growing them your own, then you know
Yeah,
that they're going to be healthy and that they're not
right,
going to be
right.
contaminated with a bunch of chemicals and things like
Yeah,
that. So yes, I mean, growing your own stuff is amazing. I mean, I
yeah.
do have plants and I wish I had enough room to grow
I,
even more, but things like cleavers, you might be able to transplant, a
yeah,
patch
bring
and
some.
then
Yeah,
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 just
yeah.
making sure that it comes from, a good source where it's not been, again, contaminated by a lot of,
Right, right, right. Yeah,
highway or anything like that.
yeah,
And so, yeah, I mean, I want to be able to find some of these things in nature and to be able to use
yeah.
them that way. And a lot
Right.
of the stuff I do right now is dried because it's
Yeah,
easier for me to get my hands on it,
yeah, yeah,
and like the liquid drops that I have, they're dry, it's dry cleavers, which is
yeah.
in a pinch, it's gonna work and it'll be,
Yeah,
do
oh,
its
that's
thing.
cool too. Just
Yeah.
sharing where you got them, where
Mhm.
you can go. I know there's this really cool place at Eastern Market that has all kinds of dried stuff. I even got some Celtic salt from this
Mhm.
guy, which I was really excited to get.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he has all kinds of stuff. It's a bit dis, everything's everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think, even if we went on a outing to the down there to the what was I just said it
Eastern Market.
Eastern Market. Yeah, I mean, there's so many things this guy has that is amazing,
Yeah.
that I haven't seen, like, at any of the local places in Wyandotte or anything. So
Yeah.
I was excited about. this place, you know. He's like, I don't even know what I have, you know, go look around, like look behind things.
And it's
I'm
been
like,
your
oh
friend.
my gosh, yeah.
So
So, but
have you ever used any of those mushrooms? Have you ever tried any of those
no, I
mushrooms?
tried growing some lion's mane in
Mm-hmm.
my yard and it didn't work out. It didn't come back. And I ordered a special log that was like
Yes.
yeah, implanted with them. And I didn't have any luck. So no, I haven't really, you know, and I've always wanted to go foraging for certain mushrooms, but I've never been able to do that either. But yeah, I didn't have any luck, you know, with the thing that I ordered.
If you do buy them online, you want to make sure that it is, what's it called? It's extracted. So
Uh,
you'll find a lot of mushroom powders, but
yeah.
you want to make sure that there's like a certain kind that you buy, and I believe it's extracted. Let me grab that real quick. Let me see what.
Okay.
So yeah, you want the extract powder.
Okay. Extract powder.
So I think you can see it's going to show up backwards, but
Oh yeah, I know. I see. Yep.
mhm. So yeah, this one is a powder. And I like that. And you can put that in any type of tea if you just want to put a boost in your coffee or in your tea
Uh-huh.
or anything like that. And then I have these, which are slices.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So these are the reishi mushroom slice. And I'll sometimes put that in a broth. So you just throw that in water or throw that in like a stock, and
Hmm.
you can add flavor and add the mushroom into like a soup or a stew.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can cook with it that way, or
Uh-huh.
you can just put that in some hot water, and
Yeah.
you can make a tea out of it.
Tea out of it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah. But reishi is really, like I said, when I've worked with it, it's just it's a very grounding, mushroom, but it's something that really helps with, each of them have a little bit of different properties, but this
Mm,
one is just like it just hums the earth. It's just like
wow.
it just to me is just like, when you feel some of those grounding drums,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how it makes
Uh,
me feel. And it's just so ancient and it's so strong and it's just so grounding. And it really just gets down to like, every cell. And yeah, like I said, in traditional Chinese medicine, it's really strong for like, good chi, strong vitality,
yeah.
really, really strong immunity
Yeah.
and like all of that. So even, when you're talking about like some of the mushrooms, reishi is probably my favorite. Reishi's probably.
Taste wise and everything, taste wise and what it does
I
for
haven't, yeah, I mean, I don't mind the taste of it.
you.
It doesn't have like any real strong
Mm-hmm.
flavor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just the way that it makes me feel, is
Wow.
is strong. Yeah, it's really good
Yeah.
that way.
And then how do you spell that?
Reishi.
Okay. Yeah. I bought some of that rise mushroom stuff that goes in your
It's gonna
coffee.
be in that.
Yeah, it is in that. But that was I can't handle the taste.
Okay. Yeah.
It's way too strong for me.
So
Way too strong.
yeah, if you mix that in with something else like a cacao,
Yeah.
that will sometimes,
Oh, yeah, I never
yeah,
thought
help
about
the
that.
flavor.
Yeah.
You can also I mean, I know they say it's supposed to be a coffee
Mm.
substitute, but really it's about
I
getting the
put it right
sweetness
in my
in your
coffee.
coffee. Yeah,
And I mean strong coffee. And I still can't
still
I
too much.
can't stomach it. No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I haven't tried those
Yeah.
coffee, or those
Yeah.
mushroom beverages like mud water or rise or anything. I
Yeah.
haven't tried them. The closest one I was making my own, and it was the roasted roots.
Oh, that's,
Roasted roots has 7 different mushrooms in it.
yeah.
And
Wow.
then it has your mushrooms and it has I roast the dandelion and the burdock together. The chicories are already roasted. So that's all those roots get roasted and then ground up. And then I add in, the ashwagandha, the cacao, rhodiola, I think, and some of the other herbs and the mushrooms. So
Oh, wow.
that one I don't think, yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
taste mushroomy to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because this, or at least Rise, is so pungent,
Mhm.
mushroomy that, whoa, it just knocks you out, you know. I,
Yes. You gotta
and I
like
like
what you're drinking.
mushrooms and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, but this is
This is
beyond,
beyond.
woo, anything I can handle. But yeah, I do like root flavors of
Mhm.
things, and I love dandelion greens in my salad and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah. I haven't tried the roots yet in anything, but yeah, and I mean they sell those right at the market, dandelion greens. We used to get them for our parrots.
Yes.
But yeah,
Those are really, again, I'm only touching on 1 or 2 different things for
yeah,
spring, but dandelion is huge for spring.
yeah,
Anywhere from the flowers to the greens to the roots, you can use
I-
the whole plant. And
yeah,
the first food for bees.
yeah. I know I'm so
And
good. I'm like wanting to get rid of the front yard and just do all dandelions.
yeah, they don't last. Why
Like,
get
no,
rid of them? And
no, we are
they're
not
good for
doing that.
you. Yeah, and they're good for you,
I know, I know.
It's all those digestive bitters just help to get the body cleansed and ready for summer.
The neighborhood would probably burn us out because you know how everybody doesn't want any dandelions in their lawn, and all of our seeds would be flying all over the neighborhood, and they'll probably, you
We
know,
have a neighbor that does not get rid of the dandelions, and I love them.
that's cool. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. That's neat.
yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm going to start embracing more of the weeds
yeah,
that come. Yep, for sure, for sure.
yeah.
Because I eventually, I do the butterfly things, the saving the monarch thing, and I've got, a greenhouse set up just for that. And it's small, but I did the lady across the street is a monarch way station certified
Oh,
place.
wow.
Yeah, so I'm kind of getting a lot of tips and stuff from her, and she gives me plants every year to help bring them into my yard too. So,
Nice.
yeah, I mean that would be cool. Something that I really want to get into is saving the butterflies and stuff. Yeah, and the bees.
And the
I'm
bees.
yeah, yeah, bees too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean I didn't realize how important those little buggers were until
I
lately,
know.
and now I'm like, and seeing how many how low we're getting on them in the world, it's a scary thing, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, a
So
lot of it I think is, we have a lot of chemicals
yeah. Oh gosh, yes.
on a lot of the things that they
Yeah.
forage for.
Ah, yeah.
So they take that back to the colony.
But you know what? It seems like there was a lot of chemicals when I was growing up. I can remember them spraying our neighborhoods when
True.
I was little, and we had to go indoors and,
I
sh-
remember that.
I mean, and it was horrible. I mean, they were, and they don't do that anymore. So you would think things are better, but I realize things are still bad with chemicals that people use in their own lawns and stuff. But man, they used to spray all the time the neighborhoods. And of course, that wasn't just getting the mosquitoes, it was
No,
getting all the
it's
other good
everything.
things too,
I
right?
know. And
So,
again, that brings us, circles us right back to why is it so
yeah.
important for us to clear our systems and to cleanse and to,
Yes.
the lymphatic system's always busy.
Oh,
All
gosh.
those environmental toxins that we
Yeah.
absorb and all these things that we're exposed to,
Yeah.
that all is in our body and our
Oh,
body's always trying to cleanse. And so doing something simple is
yeah.
taking some cleavers, just kind of to
Right.
support the body doing its job. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, because look at the mental health of the state of the world today and our young kids. And who knows what's causing why it's like exploding. and it could be a lot of the stuff we're exposed to. And,
It could be.
I don't know, but there certainly is something
Yeah.
that is going amiss in this world. And yeah, if we could all get back to a little more organic
Mm-hmm.
living, I
Mm-hmm.
think that would help immensely,
Well,
Yeah.
I love your seed sharing idea. I want to share seeds and
Yeah.
recipes
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
all of these fun things. And so many
Yeah.
people have valuable information that
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
realize that they're just, still holding on to. So I want to be able to share this stuff
Yeah.
with everybody
Oh,
here in
yeah.
the group.
Yeah.
And, and some people are going to listen on replay, and that's good. That's okay.
Yeah.
Not
And I
everybody's
hope we get more and
available.
more people
Yeah.
because we've got some awesome gals coming to the
Yes.
shop that
Yes.
are full of wonderful,
I know. I know.
ideas and mindsets. And oh man, this could be an awesome community if it gets going.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to keep it going. We're going to keep
Okay.
going with it, Carol.
All right. Good.
So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up just because it's
Okay.
7:30. I don't want the replay to be too long, but
Yeah.
I'm so thankful that you came in here today.
Thank you. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes,
Thank you.
absolutely. Okay, so let's go ahead and just close your eyes for a minute and just be really in our heart space and gratitude and unconditional love. And just take a nice deep breath in and exhale out. And we're going to move through the rest of our day from the space of our heart. Okay. And go ahead and open your eyes. All right, I'm going to go ahead and
Okay.
end the recording.
Okay.